Brad Stevens is definitely keeping busy this offseason, making moves to shape the Boston Celtics roster for the upcoming season. His latest signing involves Josh Mainit, a player brought in on a veteran minimum contract. Mainit isn't exactly a newcomer to the league. He spent his first few seasons with the Minnesota Timberwolves, but never really had a chance to showcase his full potential. Drafted in the middle rounds back in 2020, Mainit's playing time has been limited, and his offensive game hasn't fully developed yet. Standing at 6 feet 8 inches with a wingspan close to 7 feet, he projects as a solid defender, but his offensive contributions have been sporadic at best. He does have some ability to knock down the three-pointer at decent efficiency, though he's far from being a high-volume shooter. The Celtics seem to be adding him primarily to bring competition into training camp and the preseason, particularly on the wing. Alongside players like Baylor Scheiman, Jordan Walsh, and Sam Howard, Mainit will be battling for minutes behind the team's key wing players Jaylen Brown and Sam Howard. This signing doesn't scream star power or a game changer, but rather a smart, low-risk move that could pay dividends if Mainit develops or fits into a specific role. During the season, Brad Stevens has been known for these types of strategic additions, bringing in players who can provide depth and push the core players without carrying a big financial burden. Mainit's contract includes a team option for a second year, which gives the Celtics flexibility to decide whether to keep him depending on how he performs and how the roster shapes up. This kind of contract structure is ideal during what many are calling a gap year for the Celtics, a season where they won't be at full strength due to injuries and other roster transitions. However, this signing also nudges the Celtics back into a tricky financial situation, specifically pushing them beyond the second luxury tax apron, a boundary teams try hard not to cross because it leads to heavier penalties. This was highlighted in reports breaking down the impact of the Mainit signing on Boston's salary cap and luxury tax status. Even though the team currently has 15 players under contract, including stars like Jason Tatum, the roster is still not finalized. Since many of these deals haven't been officially signed yet, the Celtics technically could still maneuver under the second apron limit while exploring additional roster moves. Notably, the team still has some players with non-guaranteed contracts, such as Jordan Walsh and J.D. Davidson, who could be moved or waived to create cap space. As the offseason progresses and free agency winds down, the Celtics are expected to make trades to cut luxury tax penalties or even get fully under the luxury tax line before the start of the $20 million to $150 2026 NBA season. This won't be a only move fix. Multiple trades or roster adjustments will likely be necessary to create the financial flexibility needed to compete effectively when key players, especially Tatum, return. It's clear that Boston is in a delicate spot. They need to balance the roster with the right mix of talent, depth, and salary cap management to avoid sinking further into tax penalties. Looking ahead to the potential rotation, it seems the Celtics are aiming to keep the core group intact for next season. Jaylen Brown, Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, and Sam Howard all appear to be foundational pieces heading into $20 million to $150 2026. Centers on the roster, such as Nemba Kadja, Luka Garza, Amari Williams, and Xavier Tillman, who can play some small ball 5, will likely remain as well. George Niang, a solid shooter who averaged around 10 points per game last season, is also part of the mix, but questions remain about his fit, especially on the defensive end. And as a power forward, Niang's defensive limitations might limit his role, so the Celtics will have to see if they can find better options or trades to improve that area. The roster still feels incomplete, especially if Boston wants to stay competitive and avoid the risk of a down year while their stars recover or develop. Being just over the second luxury tax apron means the team must act soon if they want to avoid costly penalties. It won't be as simple as waiving one player or making a single trade. It's going to require several moves to shed salary and open cap space. Players like J.D. Davidson, who has a team option but carries about $2 million in salary, could be waived if needed to chip away at the tax burden. Every little bit helps when trying to get under the luxury tax line. Other potential moves might involve trading Anthony Simons, who has a large contract worth around $27 million on an expiring deal. While it's unlikely the Celtics get full salary back in return, offloading a significant portion of that contract could help tremendously with their cap situation. Simons' trade value may have diminished somewhat as the market dries up and teams use their exceptions and cap space to the fullest. But the Celtics front office has a history of working quietly and creatively to get deals done behind the scenes. Georges Niang's contract might also be on the chopping block if the Celtics need to clear additional salary. Moving him could open up trade exceptions or fit into other teams' non-taxpayer mid-level exception slots, offering some flexibility. In negotiations, Sam Howard meanwhile is more likely to stay given his value as a rotation player and one of the best shooters in the league, consistently hitting over 40% from beyond the arc. Despite speculation, the Celtics seem focused on retaining Howard and building around him, especially considering the team just acquired Simons and Niang. Though both newcomers could still be traded before the season begins if Boston wants to fully get under the luxury tax, they will probably need to start with moving Simons, as he represents the largest chunk of salary that can be shed. Following that, further moves involving players like Davidson or Niang could help complete the roster overhaul and salary cap cleanup. The Celtics front office, led by Brad Stevens, is known for subtle but effective maneuvers that don't always make headlines but get the job done. This offseason, those quiet trades and waivers will be crucial for Boston's financial health and on-court competitiveness. Beyond these roster and financial moves, the Celtics are also preparing to integrate their newest draft picks and young players into the fold. Hugo Gonzalez, the 28th overall pick in the first round, has officially signed a 4-year contract with the Celtics and is expected to wear number 28. Gonzalez has drawn comparisons to a Marcus Smart and Derek White hybrid, an energetic, hustling wing player who can contribute defensively and on the perimeter. Though he's currently playing in the EuroLeague, there's a chance he could join the Celtics for the upcoming Summer League, giving fans a first look at what he brings to the table. Alongside Gonzalez, the team's second-round picks Max Shulga and Amari Williams will also participate in the Summer League, aiming to prove they deserve a spot on the roster. The Celtics Summer League schedule is stacked with nationally televised games, including matchups against the Memphis Grizzlies, New York Knicks, Miami Heat, and Los Angeles Lakers. These games will be a critical proving ground for the young Celtics players hoping to earn minutes in the regular season rotation. Jordan Walsh is also expected to be on the Summer League roster, facing intense competition for playing time. For these rookies and young prospects, standing out during the Summer League is essential to carving out a role on a team aiming for another championship run. The Summer League represents both an opportunity and a challenge. It's a chance for new faces to showcase their skills and for the Celtics to evaluate talent under game conditions. But it's also a high-stakes environment where only the best performers will secure a future with the team. For Brad Stevens and the Celtics management, these Summer League games will provide valuable insights as they finalize the roster and prepare for the regular season grind. As the Celtics approach the new season, they are balancing a mix of seasoned veterans, promising young talent, and salary cap considerations. The decisions made over the next few weeks, whether to keep or trade certain players, how to manage contracts, and which rookies to develop, will shape the team's trajectory. The goal remains to return to championship contention as soon as possible, despite the hurdles of the offseason and the challenges posed by salary cap rules. In this evolving landscape, every signing, trade rumor, and roster adjustment carries significant weight. Fans are watching closely, eager to see how Brad Stevens and the Celtics front office will navigate these complexities to build a winning team. While Josh Mainett's signing might not grab all the headlines, it fits into a broader strategy of adding depth, maintaining financial flexibility, and preparing the roster for a demanding season ahead. The next few months will be pivotal as Boston continues to shape its identity and chase another shot at NBA glory. As the Boston Celtics continue their off-season adjustments, the team's management faces the delicate task of balancing immediate competitiveness with long-term sustainability. The signing of Josh Mainett is just one piece of a larger puzzle that Brad Stevens and his front office must solve as they try to field a team capable of contending. While navigating a tight salary cap situation, the luxury tax burden looms large over the Celtics, forcing them to consider not only player talent but also financial prudence. This offseason, more than most, is about striking that balance, keeping the core intact, integrating young talent, and trimming salary commitments that could hinder flexibility down the line. Josh Mainett, while not a household name, represents the kind of player who can quietly contribute to team chemistry and provide depth. His defensive versatility is appealing to a Celtics team that has historically prioritized strong defensive identity. Though his offensive game is still developing, Mainett's ability to guard multiple positions and hit open threes makes him a useful piece off the bench. His presence will likely push younger wings to improve and veteran players to maintain their edge during practice and games. In a long NBA season, having dependable role players who understand their role and can deliver on limited minutes is crucial, especially for a team with championship aspiration. However, the challenge for Boston isn't just about who is on the roster, it's about how they manage the financial implications of their decisions. The Celtics currently operate beyond the second luxury tax apron, a threshold that penalizes teams heavily if they exceed it. This situation creates urgency for trades or contract maneuvers to reduce payroll, yet such moves are rarely straightforward. Trading away valuable contributors risks weakening the team's on-court performance, while holding on tight could lead to financial strain and less flexibility in future transactions. The Celtics front office has to navigate these competing priorities carefully. One of the more significant hurdles is Anthony Simons' contract, which at nearly $27 million and expiring after this season represents a substantial salary chunk that Boston could seek to move. However, finding a trade partner willing to absorb such a contract is difficult in a market where many teams are also close to the salary cap or luxury tax limits. This makes the possibility of a sign-in trade or a package deal more likely, where Boston might attach draft picks or young assets to entice a team to take on Simons' salary. Such transactions require finesse and timing, especially as other teams manage their own roster and cap situations. Another player whose contract could factor into future moves is Georges Niang. While Niang has been a solid contributor, especially with his outside shooting, his defensive liabilities limit his ceiling. On a team that values two-way players, trading Niang might free some salary and create room to pursue players who better fit Boston's style. Still, his value is tied to his shooting and experience, and offloading him without receiving valuable assets in return would be less than ideal. The Celtics must weigh the potential roster benefit against the financial relief his departure might bring. Meanwhile, the Celtics' young core is gaining attention as the organization looks to the future. Hugo Gonzalez, the promising EuroLeague talent and first-round pick, embodies the franchise's hope for a long-term contributor who can eventually assume a significant role. His combination of defensive intensity and playmaking ability has drawn favorable comparisons, and integrating him into the system will be a priority for Stevens and the coaching staff, though the team hasn't yet decided whether he will participate in the upcoming summer league. His development trajectory suggests that Boston views him as more than just a lottery flyer. They see a potential cornerstone. Alongside Gonzalez, second-round picks Max Shulga and Amari Williams provide depth and upside. Summer league games will serve as critical evaluations for these rookies. Their performances could determine not only their chances of making the roster, but also how the Celtics build around their young talent. Summer league often exposes weaknesses in young players' games, and for a team in transition, identifying which players can develop into reliable rotation members is vital. The Summer League schedule, featuring nationally televised matchups against the Memphis Grizzlies, New York Knicks, Miami Heat, and Los Angeles Lakers, adds extra pressure and visibility. These games offer an opportunity for the Celtics' young players to shine on a big stage, but also for the coaching staff to assess readiness and potential fit. The intensity and competition in Summer League can be a stark contrast to college or international play, so players like Gonzalez, Shulga, Williams, and Jordan Walsh must rise to the challenge to secure their futures. Jordan Walsh in particular remains an intriguing figure. With non-guaranteed contract status, he is on the roster bubble, but has shown flashes of potential. His ability to contribute on both ends of the floor will be scrutinized closely. Walsh's size and defensive instincts could make him a valuable 3A NDD wing, a highly coveted player type in today's NBA, but consistency and offensive development remain areas for improvement. If Walsh can prove himself during the Summer League and training camp, he could carve out a spot as a valuable rotation piece. As Boston prepares for the regular season, it's clear that the front office will have to remain agile. Trades, waivers, and signings will continue to shape the roster even as the season approaches. The team's desire to maintain depth while managing salary cap pressures means that some players currently on the roster may be moved or waived before training camp. J.D. Davidson, for instance, with a team option but a salary round to $1 million, is a candidate for a move if the Celtics need to create additional cap space. Waiving Davidson or similar players could help Boston inch closer to the luxury tax threshold and reduce the financial penalties they face. Brad Stevens and his team have demonstrated an ability to make smart, sometimes unexpected moves. Their strategy this offseason seems to blend patience with opportunism, holding onto key players like Jaylen Brown and Sam Howard while remaining open to trading or waiving others if it benefits the team's long-term outlook. Maintaining financial flexibility is paramount as Boston aims to be in a position to sign free agents or absorb contracts in future trades. Despite the focus on financial maneuvering, the Celtics have not lost sight of the ultimate goal: competing for an NBA championship. The mix of veteran talent, emerging young players, and savvy management creates a foundation for success. Yet the coming months will test the organization's ability to juggle roster construction and financial realities. Injuries, performance fluctuations, and unforeseen opportunities or challenges will all influence the team's path. The importance of the Celtics' upcoming summer league cannot be overstated. It will provide a clearer picture of the young talents, readiness, and the depth players' potential. It's also a chance for the team to build chemistry and assess fit. For fans, it's a glimpse into the future: who might step up and make a name for themselves, who could become a key contributor, and how the team's identity will evolve. The Celtics' journey through this off-season reflects broader trends, and the NBA teams must constantly balance talent, cap space, and future flexibility. The luxury tax, salary cap constraints, and the need to develop young players make roster construction a complex puzzle. Boston's front office, led by Brad Stevens, faces these challenges with a blend of experience and strategic vision. Their moves may not always grab headlines, but their cumulative effect will shape the Celtics' competitiveness for years to come. Ultimately, the decisions made now will resonate beyond this season, keeping the core intact while nurturing promising rookies like Hugo Gonzalez, while trimming salary commitments to avoid excessive luxury tax penalties, positions the Celtics to remain contenders. The integration of young players and the management of veterans' roles will determine how quickly Boston can return to title contention. As the summer progresses into training camp and the regular season, the Celtics roster will take its final shape and outcome, influenced by the strategic decisions made in this critical off-season period. But before we continue, please remember to subscribe to the channel and give the video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest news about the Boston Celtics. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. In a move that's sending shockwaves through NBA circles, whispers are growing louder that forward John Collins may have signed with the Boston Celtics, a potentially blockbuster addition for the reigning NBA champions. While the Celtics organization has yet to release full contract details, multiple reports suggest the deal is done, setting the stage for an intriguing offseason shakeup in Boston. If confirmed, Collins' arrival would bolster an already loaded Celtics roster fresh off a dominant 2024-25 championship run. The high-flying forward, known for his athleticism, rebounding, and pick-and-roll presence, could provide exactly the kind of front-court depth Boston has sought to strengthen behind Jason Tatum and Kristaps Porzingis. Though the Celtics front office has remained tight-lipped, speculation began swirling after insiders close to the team hinted at a major signing in the works. Fans and analysts alike are now wondering how Collins would fit into Joe Mazzulla's rotation. Would he be a sixth-man weapon off the bench, or is there a possibility of Porzingis sliding to the 5, allowing Collins to slot in as a starting for some around the league are questioning how the Celtics managed to maneuver around salary cap constraints to bring in Collins, who still carries significant value despite a quieter stint in Utah last season. Could Boston have taken advantage of a trade exception or structured a creative deal to land the 26-year-old forward? While nothing is officially confirmed beyond a few suggestive leaks, the buzz is impossible to ignore. If true, this move signals that Boston has no plans to slow down after claiming Banner 18. Instead, they may be gearing up to build a modern dynasty, one athletic front court piece at a time.